Let's go on a journey back in time, 66 million years to be exact. We're going to witness the very last day of a lost world, a world ruled by giants, teeming with life, where every single moment was a fight for survival, and it was all about to come to a sudden, catastrophic end. That right there, that sentence just sends a shiver down your spine, doesn't it? It perfectly captures this idea of a world honed by millions of years of evolution, a masterpiece of nature, totally unaware that it was on the brink of an apocalypse it could never see coming.
So let's really set the scene. We're in the late Cretaceous period. And, this wasn't some primitive, boring landscape. This was a vibrant, thriving planet. It was a world of colossal beasts, all living in this wild, ancient symphony of survival. I mean, just look at this incredible balance. You had these mighty Triceratops herds thundering across the plains. Soaring above them, you had pterosaurs, basically living sails with wingspans like small airplanes. And of course, the undisputed king, the apex predator of all time, Tyrannosaurus rex. Everybody had their part to play in this powerful, ferocious ecosystem.
But it wasn't just about the big guys. No way. If you looked closer, down in the undergrowth, a whole other world was buzzing with life. Our distant, tiny mammal ancestors were scurrying in the shadows. Primitive birds were figuring out their wings in the treetops. And get this? New types of flowers were blooming for the very first time. It was this incredibly complex, fragile web of life. But while life on Earth was just pulsing, a silent messenger of doom was hurtling through the blackness of space. It was born from some ancient cosmic collision, and for millions of years, it had been on a direct collision course with our planet, a truly inevitable threat.
And on the surface, the symphony of life just kept playing, completely oblivious. You can almost picture it, right? Herds of hadrosaurs, their calls echoing through these lush valleys as they cross a river. The whole world is just full of sound and movement and life.
At that exact same moment, a rock 10 kilometers wide, silently slips past the moon's orbit. It's completely invisible, totally unstoppable, and its path is now irrevocably locked with Earth's. There's no turning back. Let's just come back to the surface for one last, fleeting moment of peace. Life is carrying on with its ancient dance of birth and death. It's a world so perfectly balanced, so finely tuned, that you realize only something truly apocalyptic could ever shatter it. And then, the messenger arrives. It's screaming towards the planet at over 70,000 kilometers per hour, tearing through the upper atmosphere. Friction ignites its surface, and it becomes this terrifying incandescent orb in the sky, a second sun, growing bigger and brighter, a horrifying omen for every living thing below. In those last few seconds before impact, a really strange quiet falls over the land. The birds stop singing, the animals freeze in place. It's almost as if the entire planet is holding its breath, sensing that something is terribly, terribly wrong.
And then, impact. A flash of light so unbelievably brilliant it completely erases the sun from the sky. And it's followed by a roar so immense it goes beyond the very concept of sound. For just a moment, time itself seems to just stop.
The scale of this thing is, well, it's almost impossible for us to wrap our heads around. The impact released the energy of 100 million megatons of DNT. That's a force so far beyond any weapon humanity has ever even dreamed of creating.
Right there at ground zero, in what we now call the Yucatan Peninsula, the world was just obliterated. The Earth's crust buckled like paper, the sea instantly flashed into steam, the very air ignited into a wall of all-consuming fire.
And the devastation didn't just stay at the impact site, oh no. Within minutes, a cascade of disasters engulfed the entire globe. The world was now, literally, a planet on fire. This timeline really shows you the horrifying speed of it all. Molten rock, blasted into space, rained back down across the whole planet, setting off global firestorms. A tsunami over a kilometer high scoured the oceans, and within just a few days, the entire planet was plunged into total, absolute darkness.
The planet became a furnace. Surface temperatures shot past 1,000 degrees Celsius, hot enough to boil the oceans. The impact left this massive wound, a crater 180 kilometers wide, and the whole planet just trembled with non-stop earthquakes for weeks. But believe it or not, the fire was just the beginning. The incredible heat was followed by something even deadlier, a long, dark, and freezing winter, caused by all the dust and ash that was now choking the atmosphere. I mean, this slide just says it all. The contrast is chilling. The world went from a vibrant, sun-drenched paradise to a frozen, dark tomb. Once the sun was blocked out, the plants died. And when the plants died, the entire global food chain just collapsed.
Yep, no sunlight meant no photosynthesis. The herbivores starved first, and then the predators that hunted them followed. Imagine the mighty T-Rex, once the absolute king of its world, now just a shadow of its former self, roaming a frozen wasteland, slowly, inevitably succumbing to hunger and the biting cold. One by one, the giants simply vanished.
But even in all of that absolute devastation, a tiny spark of life held on. Down in the burrows, deep in the mud, hiding in deep-sea vents, small creatures clung to existence. And it was from those ashes that a brand new world was about to be born.
Life's return was, as you'd expect, incredibly slow and tentative. It happened in these little steps. Over many, many years, the dust finally settled, weak sunlight peeked through again, and rain began to wash the sterile soil. And then, against all odds, forgotten seeds started to sprout. And the survivors, the insects, the amphibians, and those small, furry mammals, finally emerged from the shadows.
And this was the single greatest consequence of the whole cataclysm. The Great Age of Reptiles, a reign that lasted 150 million years, was over. It came to a violent, definitive end. And the creatures that once lived hidden in the shadows, well, they now had an entire world to inherit. The Age of Mammals had officially begun.
So when you really think about it, the extinction of the dinosaurs, as terrible and as complete as it wasn't the end of life on Earth. Not even close. It was the necessary spark, the catastrophic event that cleared the stage for our own story to finally begin. So what's the big takeaway here? The Chicxulub impact is this powerful, incredible reminder that life is unbelievably resilient. It adapts, it transforms, it finds a way. It wasn't an end, but a violent rebirth. That single event transformed the entire planet and paved the way for us. And that leaves us with one final, pretty big thought. What will transform our world?